So this is just a short video about the drama triangle. It's a really interesting and useful concept that can be used in lots of different places, but I think it's particularly interesting if you are interested in coaching skills. And it comes from transaction analysis, an idea that Eric Berne came up with in the 1950s, which is about how we internalize relationships, which has a lot to do with our childhood and the things that we see around us, but we tend to move around these different states. So we move from parent, adult, child throughout the day, and we're triggered into these positions by the different people that we're with. Stephen Karpman took this idea and turned it into the drama triangle. So looking at the relationships that we tend to most get into, particularly in the workplace. And those different positions are persecutor, victim, and rescuer. Let me just show you an image if I share my screen. So the persecutor is that critical parent. So it's that the voice inside us, when we say, oh, I can't believe they did that. That's your fault. You did that to me. You've messed up. So that real kind of critical voice that we can have. The victim is a state where we feel like everything's happening to us. We are saying things like, oh, I can't believe, it's always me. I'm just so unlucky. I can't believe this has happened to me again. So we're really in quite this kind of helpless space. And then the rescuer. And that's the, let me come and make everything okay. Okay, I will take on the load and I'll make it all right. And so, it isn't that we stick in one of these places all the time. We tend to move around them, but we can have particular places that we go with particular people. And it may be that you recognize that, oh, yeah, I can definitely see that I get into maybe that persecuted victim place with someone, or that rescuer victim place. And I think what's really interesting is that often we can get into a rescuer place and we feel like we're absolutely doing the right thing. It comes from a really good place. It comes from a place of caring and wanting things to be better. But the problem is that the more that we rescue others, the more that we take on their problems, the I guess more helpless in a way that victim becomes, because they're not learning how to solve their problems themselves. So yes, absolutely, there are always places where rescuing is absolutely the right thing. But if you find yourself in a relationship with someone where you're rescuing, and you don't seem to be able to shift out of that, and actually it gets quite frustrating, actually after a time you can flick into persecutor, like, oh, I've had enough. Like, this person just needs to change. I can't deal with it anymore. And so I think this is why a coaching approach can be really, really powerful, because the only way that we can break out of this drama triangle is adulting. And that's why coaching is brilliant, because when we go in and instead of rescuing or instead of blaming, we ask a question. We say, okay, what are your options? This is sounds really challenging, and I really, really feel for you. Tell me what you think your options are, or what are the things that are within your control. With that place that we're speaking from then is a very neutral place. It's a very adult, kind of rational place. And I think the more that we can hold that position, the more that we can help the victim, or the person that's in that victim place at that moment, to move out of that, and for them themselves to be able to step into adult. And so I think coaching is a really useful tool to help us if we find ourselves in that drama place, to be able to adult our way out of it. So that's just a brief introduction to the drama triangle and an example of how coaching can be really powerful in that context.